And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time. Victoria 3 is the Great Qing, as I'm doing one last attempt on 1.87 to see how high and how quickly we can get the GDP up to really high numbers as the Great Qing. The last run, which is why I'm kind of redoing the run before we go into 1.9, I took the swap over to proportional taxation far too early. At this point, it's obvious we should be on proportional taxation. But the one that I screwed up, I took it when we were like minus 200,000 revenue from doing the swap. So this one we're waiting until we were like minus 100 or like plus 100. And then even then it took a while to do the swap, so we were quite positive at that point when we did the swap. At this point, you can see, like, yeah, no, we're not getting enough from land taxation that you want to be off land taxation at this point. And yeah, the best taxation law right now for us is proportional. Unless we were trying to very specifically, like, tamp down on the power of the rich and bolster the power of the poor. But we're not doing that. We're trying to raise the GDP, and the rich are often the people best suited to do that. If we're going for seeing how fast we get the standard of living really high, we might be thinking a little differently, but we're not. I'm thinking it might make sense. Yeah. They might get help from Egypt, might get help from New Granada. But either way, I think we are going to go end the independence of Iraq. Partially for their oil. Hopefully bring that into the country. And maybe more importantly, into our GDP. Oh, we got a pretty good supply of iron that we could be building up. So what do we need? 17. So about 180 of these. Yeah, we're just going to queue them all up for construction. Some of them might de-level at some point in the future, but we'll get the entire domestic iron supply, in theory, tapped. It'll almost be simply getting people to move to it. Decrease iron supply. Also want to expand construction. I know we'll hold off on expanding construction for a bit. Oh, am I still giving you... Yeah, hold that military assistance. And we're going to hold off because we're going to swap over to arc welding soon. And that will raise costs and make us consume more money for construction. So. And yeah, lots to build. Lots in the queue now. I just need to be patient enough to let it build. Why did I think you now needed that much power? Did something change? Demand-wise. You're on electric. I can swap you over to radio. That would raise electricity demand a little bit. Yeah, it's not a bad choice. Okay, so quickly let's toss in some railways. And then the new place probably wants some power. The rest of these I'm not really interested, so I think we got all the production tech we want. Is there anything in society we want? Well, the market access from Zeppelins is not bad if that's spreading to us. I could go... Government dividend efficiency, market access price. Or do I do military? Let's do military while we're getting the spread. Apply. Grab trench, go defense and depth. Here's landed voting. And we'll see who wins the election. I was kind of hoping that the literati would get a party. Or that the trade unions would take a party, but that doesn't appear to be what the case is. I was surprised it's not necessarily unsurprising that the agrarians are quite a large party in this country. Once you give people a vote, there's a lot of people who have land. Up to 1.6 GDP. Okay, there's our election. We can figure out if we even have a stable government. We have a couple different choices for stable government. Keep the scholar officials in charge. Do that. Do these guys. We could do these guys. We bring in the scholar officials as a third. That's it. No. Alright, so it's basically those two choices. Do we want petite Confucian scholars in the armed forces? Or do we want the armed forces and scholar officials? Or do we want petite the Confucians and the rural folk? I don't think I want that combo. This one would basically be the same that we've been running, except we have the armed forces in as well. Could try to get them to swing, like colonial or similar or something. I don't think that's worth it. And then we got this option. Honestly, I don't think it makes much of a difference right now. Yeah, we'll go this way for the moment. This keeps the scholar officials in theory probably being a party. At least until we get the air swap, and then we'll have to rethink about everything. There's the market access price impact. So for a lot of our really fancy territory, we got... Oh, Pearl River doesn't have one. It was... Yellow River does. Yellow River has a market access price impact modifier. Plus 5%. So the local price at this point are starting to very strongly reflect the national market in Shangxi. Because there's only a 5% difference between the two. I was getting people to move into these places. Well, we have no unemployed and we have no peasants, so if it's working, it's not working very well. Well, in theory, it's receiving some migration. Migration 5 times more than its population growth, about. Yeah, more than that. Well, actually, we got a full gold mine, we got a full gold field. We can subsidize you to make sure there's some jobs. Oh, not that that makes any sense right now, because we haven't finished getting the government infrastructure filled out. Yeah, actually, let's leave you unsubsidized, because at this point you're the thing that everything's competing against. And we're up to 1.7 billion. Okay, we had Grand Columbia to the market directly. There's trench works. Go ahead and... So it's technically we're not using a siege artillery, so it's not actually much of an improvement jumping to that one. Yeah. Okay, we'll hold off for a bit. Might make sense to do landing craft at some point, but we'll hold off on that as well. Do we actually have anything spreading out of? No. Okay. Well, let's pick up macroeconomics for the extra mappy. And then let's swap over the army to the trench infantry. Basically one more ammunition, one more small arms for a unit. Oh, actually, we've inherited one thing of shrapnel infantry. I would get the upgrade, but it's like 1. It's not worth going all the way for, I think. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So, we're in the green because the private economy is actually wanting enough construction sectors. Actually, how much oil do we have? Probably not enough. Give you on electric trains. Combustion engine derrick. Everything on publicly traded. Arcades, electric street lights, public motor carriages, software the recoil mechanisms, bolt actions if you have them. Okay. Bit of a shame we don't have more lead availability. Furniture's really cheap. Paper's really cheap. Yeah, really the only thing here is fish. I suppose we could, find some more fish. Right, queue up fish just like we did the domestic iron. And then, so we can then turn around and subsidize fish. Try to encourage people to swap to it. Up to 1.8. Got 15 years to do another 0.4 to get to where we were last time. So let's see if we can do better. Oh, you can use general. Who do we have in government? Yeah, who have in government? Was it, I think we stopped putting... Oh no, we still have them in government, do we? Yes. School officials, armed forces. Either of those, as long as they're not necessarily going to get in the way of swamping, I suppose. Well, get in the way of our monarchical form of government. Again. Importing rubber, importing rubber, importing rubber. Exporting glass and engines mostly, and luxury goods. How much do we need to annex these guys? 43. Quite a lot. I think that's because we have a somewhat high level of desire for independence among our subjects after we've been integrating them one by one. Oh, we've got shortage of government admin. Let's fix that shortage government admin real quick. Probably at the same time increase the tax revenue a bit. Don't think necessarily the costs are gonna completely wipe each other out. There we go. Plenty of government admin. A little bit more tax revenue as well. Move close, replace it with T. Oh, actually no, roof close and replace it with nothing. That's fair. At this point, yeah, probably expecting to remove another one. Do T glass automobiles. Do groceries. Honestly, it's almost the case with services from a revenue standpoint. Sure, we'll just move on to the taxing the rich harder. Leaving services out of the picture. That may cause a little bit of a standard of living gain. And of course, salon as well. Yeah, with how high up that line has gone, you can't see any of the random noise at the beginning of the cycle where it was all complicated and not necessarily always going up. I forgot to start stating Iraq. You know, actually appears that we probably need more construction sectors. Unemployed's down to 3 million. Peasants are down to 40 million. New gold mine to expand. Maybe those new ones should hire up reasonably quickly. Providing more demand for government revenue. And more demand for their inputs. As well as at this point, you're starting to see that the private queue actually just needs more construction sectors so that they can build things. Yep, we're up to 2 billion. I can raise hardwood production again. Another like 4,000 desire for hardwood. At that point, it's probably just worth, yeah. Entrenched front. Get the investment towards defense in depth. And apparently, if I want to keep spending all the money, I need to invest even more in construction sectors. we go. Another max company. More mappy. Take that one next. We want... Yeah, we want that one. Paved roads is not as good as some of the earlier ones were, because it doesn't give any construction space. Just gives land trade capacity and infrastructure from automobile consumption. Whereas the government dividends efficiency there is potentially quite nice. The new corporation. Given the circumstances, we might actually want convoys. So I don't know how well this is going to get off the ground, per se, but it's not necessarily going to have a lot to buy, but I'm going to buy the Qing fishery conglomerate there so we can get the convoy bonus. .1. And honestly, there is a demand still for even more construction sector expansion. Yeah. Wait, you got the peasants to support this. Unemployed, no. Peasants, yes. Same thing with Yanogram there. You've got peasants but not unemployed to support construction sector expansion. Maybe that's starting to say something, right? Yeah, we've got unemployed in all the places you're building construction sectors, but not elsewhere at this point. Okay, and market-wise, rails. We need... You're electrified. I remember that being like 60. Why is it like 60? 35... Yeah, it should be like 60. Okay, do something like that for the transport. Then for the power plants, got some places that do want quite a bit. Shaanxi needs so many. Actually, that one honestly needs that many. Okay. Okay, we'll see if that... Well, that should keep the construction queue, at least the government portion of the construction queue, a bit busy for a while. And we'll see if we can get up to 2.2 before stream ends. I think we can. Let's go after Siam. Nope, and now we're at 2.2 billion. Some of that might be just actually mobilizing, so that might not necessarily be very stable, the last 0.1 there. So, probably the amount of territorial takeover of Siam will make the difference there. So it might have been investing in Siam. That might be why we're not having a lot of investment pool consumption right now. Interesting that the industrialists are... That's a party. That's an interesting party, guys. Very interesting. We got the ownership class and the workers united here, with the farmers. So I think they're prone to win this election because that's like most of the country. Unsurprisingly, like I'm more surprised that forming a stable party. And we're up to 2.3 billion, so we got the GDP higher than we did the last run. 12 years early. Higher and faster, yes. How much higher? How much faster? Well, about 12 years faster, give or take. How much higher? Well, maybe not that much higher, but we're trying. There goes Siam. Go ahead and force a new batch of power plants and railroads on them. We'll go fix the PMs in like 30 weeks. Here's the election. And they did win the election. So can they make a stable government? No. They can't make a stable government because they can't agree on anything. Like, sometimes the game will throw incompatible parties together. Ideological incompatibility 62. Total cloud of government plus percentage of voters in the government is 56. So this has got a -6. Okay. Government sometimes. Elections sometimes. We might as well stick with the current government, to be fair. At least until the king dies and we've got a new prince. Oh, and we want to expand that place. The police and the welfare out here. I'll begin stating the place. It won't complete in time, I suspect, but yeah, 21 years. It's not going to complete in time. But means we'll get 12/20ths of the welfare and police effects before the end of the game, so more than 50% of our police effects. Going up to 2.4 billion. And to some degree still going up. Okay, there's our modern financial instruments. More minting, more government investment efficiency. You know, we'll grab the paved roads, because at least in the places where we got low infrastructure, the pops are presumably consuming our automobiles, so they'll get some infrastructure bonuses there. And then we don't need the taxation capacity. We can go to taxation capacity next after that. .2. They're probably still growing. Good number of loyalists, and that's including the radicals, probably from taking places over. Oh, interesting. Wood has gone expensive. All things. The longest time, wood had been underwater because we intentionally overbuilt wood, and it's now expensive. Well, expensive relative to where it's been the entire game. I guess we will have to... well, we've got more territories. We've got more... Presumably have more places to make lumber. I say, and as I'm scrolling through the list, all the places that have lumber have no unemployed. There may be no peasants. Basically no peasants. Oh boy. May be hard to make more lumber. We need to get people to move out of the interior is the answer, I suspect. We literally have thousands of jobs opening here. And, yep. Only getting the population desirability up to medium. Only medium. Which is still getting it growing at 10 times population growth, but not enough. Not enough people moving out here to the middle of nowhere, to be fair. Oh, this one has high attraction. It's getting absolutely no one. No, this one's railway and stuff is full. Okay. This one apparently just got more stuff sooner. So is this the shipyards competing for people here? Okay. One random military shipyard. Yep, we're 2.5 and still growing. And we still got like 10 years left in the game. So yes, unequivocally, the previous version of this one will be marked version, playlist will be marked as version 2. Version 2. Because it's also in 1.87. The previous 1.87 run, we swapped way too early in proportional taxation. This one we picked a better time and it's paid off. We're 300 million GDP bigger. We probably have a slightly higher, well, we might have about the same standard of living. I'd have to look at the population. I don't have the population memorized offhand. We might even have more people. I think the other one probably ended up with most of Dur. Dur got independent this time. Because it picked the right time to get its independence. Because the logic that I've been going here is we want to get to oil, so we sort of snake through into Persia, Basara for the Middle Eastern oil, and then we want rubber, so we're down here. Nope, we just had the first large number of Japanese people are migrating to us. Okay. And there's landing craft. So in theory, we got no penalties for invading people. Not that we're necessarily going to invade people. We're down to 1.32 million unemployed. So I think it is time to free up more people to work more jobs. Oops. Our electric engines all the way. And the way here is going to be swapping over to things like tractors. Not the oil ones, because the oil ones are cost oil, and I don't think we got the oil to support that. And we still have quite a few subsistence items, which is fine. Filmmakers, independent artists, arcades, street lights, public motor carriages, explosives, and this is where we're going to go in. I think the ones that don't cost oil. So rotary valve engine, yes. Rotary valve engine, yes. You know, we'll do that. We'll have to probably come back through and revisit that, but that's fine. Electric engines. No complaints there. Revalve. Electric arc. Revalve. Brine. Nitrogen fixation. Paper bleaching. Rotary valve. Machined. Rotary valve. Elsewhere. Ceramics. Precision. Organized workshops. Rotary valve. Electric. Craftsman. Automatic power looms. Which is tools. Electricity, yeah. Vacuum packing. And we'll let it cycle a couple days and we'll see what that's done to the market. Oh, I guess Siam was probably the last people making sailing boats, clippers in the nation. So for poor subjects that probably want some clippers, we'll import some French Ottoman clippers for you. And then I need to get more stuff built. That big swing just produced a lot of demand for coal. 30,000 coal demand. So that'd be 300,000 or 300 mines. So the answer is probably just all the mines. Let's build all the mines. Yeah, you can see the labor saving has cost us. We've dropped about 0.2 billion. But now we can go ahead and supply those demands and have a bunch of people in theory to work the consumer industries. Alright, maybe not that much coal. Well, let's see how much that actually hires up. We just made 8 million unemployed people. Now to find some jobs for them all. We start to make coal mines in mass. And then we'll probably have a demand for tools. We'll fix the demand for tools.
Oh.
We recovered 0.1 billion of the drop from doing the automation. Mostly from just building up the coal to supply those automations. Something we're going to have to do with tools as well is also build that up. That'll help as well. Paved roads, that should help with the infrastructure. Don't need oil furnaces, don't have the oil to support that. Don't have the oil to support, well, refrigerated storage we might have. Really to do. Yeah, we already got the refrigerated rail cars, which is better. Flash freezing, that's the next improvement, I suppose, for the fishing wharfs. Though I don't think we necessarily want to unemploy more people right now. But yeah, the last couple down there would be maybe worth it for getting more unemployment. Granted, I say more unemployment. We've already dropped down to 3.7 from the high of 9 mil earlier from the unemployed. So we're finding them jobs. Or, well, hopefully they're finding the jobs. Some of them might just be retiring because we have old age pensions, and I think our work ratio is still too high. Take taxation capacity. No, we'll do healthcare. That's one way to get more workers. Make sure that they keep living. What are we up to? 2.46. Probably coming up on where I should put a part break in. Might wait until we get up to 2.5 just so we can get back up there. I think all the iron is built. Well, all the domestic iron is built. Oh no, we got a little bit more in Laos. And some domestic rubber there. Up to standard living of 20. Yeah, I think that's people retiring, so it's unemployed people retiring. Which is good and bad. It basically means we had them working jobs they didn't need to be working. Because our welfare system will provide for them in their old age, but does mean they're not as a contributor to the GDP. So yeah, I think the next one is probably tools. Got 32,000 more tools we could support. Consumption of... So that's about 320 factories? Yeah, 33,000. So 330 factories. Three, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, okay. Oh, peasants are down to 16.5. Yeah. Well, we're got mostly gainfully employed people, and mostly got them out of laborers and peasants at this point. I may be needing to find some people who are a little bit more pro-women's rights. Try getting off of legal guardianship and onto some of the more liberal women laws, women in the workplace sort of laws. Get the workforce ratio up. So let's just get the liberals and the trade unions into power, yeah? How hard can that be? Okay, now we're up at 2.5. Granted, that might be from some mobilization effects. Be prepared? What was be prepared? Be prepared to divert a famine during a high-intensity harvest condition. Okay. Don't know what triggered that, but something... We had a harvest condition, and it wasn't a problem. Looking at the time, I need to go ahead and put a port break in here to get ready to make dinner for the family. We're obviously not quite done. We got about 9 years left to go. And we're trying to see how high we can get the GDP at this point. We're higher than we were last time. In fact, we're about 0.3... Well, I don't know exactly where the rounding was in the last one. We'll say we're about 0.3. It's probably more like 0.25. Higher than we were last time. So the proportional taxation change did make a big difference. And we got 9 years to get even higher, so I suspect we can get even higher. Though our capacity to grow at this point is getting a little less productive, a little less effective. If no reason, we're probably starting to run out of people who are not gainfully employed. And we really, at this point, can't necessarily find any more by automation. That was the last wave of automation. We still got like another 3 million or so people to hire before we're back to employing those laborers as someone else. But a lot of that's just going into just fixing the fact that we had to do the automation. The automation at our current wage is not necessarily saving people a lot of money. And yeah, a lot of our things... We do have a lot of things that are underwater, like fruits are incredibly underwater. And that actually, for some degree, actually makes it a little bit hard to try to boost some of our GDP situations. Like, yeah, we can swap farms over to making fruit and sugar, which might be more productive than making wheat, except the fruit's so underwater that it's not worth trying to do it for the sugar alone. Automobiles are probably about where we want them, though we'll get more... If we fix the engines, we'll make more automobiles. Could go for some more opium. I think there probably is still some untapped opium capacity. Yeah, because we've been conquering more opium capacity. So we got plenty of opium capacity, so that might be something we go for. Fill the opium demand, fill the coffee demand. Well, actually, no, we probably don't have any coffee capacity. Oh no, we got some coffee capacity in Vietnam. Build some coffee. And then yeah, we're sort of tapped out the iron. We can import iron, and we probably will start trying to contemplate how we're going to get more iron in. Maybe we might actually contemplate who we're invading for more materials. Because we're starting to run low on things like iron. Iron and lead, for example, we've sort of tapped out the local economy capacity. I think there's still a decent amount of sulfur. Well, potential to build sulfur, not necessarily potential to operate the sulfur mine, so that's a different problem. But yeah, we're working on trying to optimize our GDP. Maybe the thing that's going to hold us back is we're trying to reach the point where we're having to raise the GDP per capita to such a high degree that it's hard to continue. Because the average worker has to be so much more valuable than they were before. Though we still have 13.4 million peasants, so maybe it's a question of how do we get the peasants to go where we need them, which is probably not where they are, which is probably mainland or main center China, right? So there's almost 1 million peasants there. In the biggest agricultural province, on subsistence farms. And there's probably a couple places where it's sort of like that, where we've got peasants that could be doing better stuff. There's like 300,000 there. Oh, that one's got no unused one. That's all used at this point. Let me check that one already. 400,000 there. Yeah, so there's a bunch of peasants kicking around, but it's getting them out of here and out to, say, Persia and the northwest and the northeast and Siam and stuff. And let them go forth and be productive. Though apparently Siam is... Well, it depends, I suppose, in Siam, right? We've got... in this case, this is a pretty well built up province. Maybe not much over there, but yeah. We'll come back. I know the patch 1.9 drops tomorrow, so if I am sufficiently aware and awake, we'll resume the stream tonight after the long dark. But this is where the stream is going to end. This is where the recording is going to end. So if you're watching on YouTube, there should be another part up shortly, unless something goes funky and I can't stay on 1.9, or don't get it recorded before 1.9. Well, if I don't get recorded before 1.9 and I can't stay on it for whatever reason, then there might not be another part. I'll mark this as final if that's the case. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's probably going to be one more part out. In the next part, I'll hopefully try to get the last 9 years in one part. It might be a little bit of a long part if that's the case, where we try to get it to go up, just go as high as we can at this point. And high as it will be stable. We might be starting to reach the point where I also need to start back cycling the industry building construction. Which if I do that, then that's also going to reduce the GDP, because that's one of the main components of the GDP. If you're watching on Twitch, I hope you've all been enjoying. I'm going to about end the stream. I will be back streaming the long dark as soon as I've got dinner done, so like an hour and a half. I will have the long dark up, and we'll be continuing the second tale there. And then when that's done, because I'm going to try to record 4 parts of that, we'll be back to doing this to try to finish this off before the 1.9 patch drops tomorrow. So, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.